Yo, this YSL case is something else. As sad as it is a spectacle. That's cap. We're going to talk about the lawyer using slang in the trial, the results of it, but also where professionalism derives. What's up, y'all? Donnie Chocolate here, barbershop professor. Classes in session. You know, YSL, man. Y'all know Young Thug, Young Slime Life, the Atlanta crew, all under indictments. It's all kind of stuff going on with that thing, man. There's all kind of people involved. They snitching, but trying to pretend that they ain't snitching. It's on the video that came out. People taking pleas and just out here, they was, Gunna was rapping. He was the toughest one, blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't know the details of his situation, but it definitely ain't gonna help Young Thug. I tell you that much. And, I think sometimes we gotta be mindful too. Like when you name yourself Young Thug, come on, y'all. Come on. All right. Anyway, so what happened was during the hearing, one of the YSL lawyers was actually, and I guess it was one of the assistant lawyers or something like that. It wasn't the main lawyer presiding over the case. At the same time, he was speaking to the judge, and he said something to the effect of, oh, no, that's cap. Cap, right? Cap. We use it all the time, everyday speak. Like, we know it. Hey, somebody capping, they lying, they not telling the truth. Like, if you really don't know what capping mean, right? So that's cool. But in front of a judge, ooh. So obviously, I don't think that was a good look. Not in that setting. And so the judge punished him, and by punishment, slapped him with like a 17-page APA style paper or some sort, whatever it's rumored. Hey, this is the barbershop. I don't got every single detail, so what? All right, barbershop style, right? But something to that effect, right? And one, I'm like, I didn't wrote enough papers. I'll be gosh darned if I'm going to have a white man tell me just to write a 17-page paper because I said a slang term and because they just feel like it, right? But judges, that's a position of authority, right? They power trip all the time. They abuse their power. They abuse their authority, right? So it was either write this paper or in jail, right? Anyway, that's not the big story here, right? Yes, dude is a horrible lawyer. But what really sparked my interest was the use of the term cap and the use of slang. And there's so many people talking about how unprofessional it was, right? And then that sparked my long-standing beef with professionalism. Here's the deal. Black people, right? We are believers of the colorful use of the English language. Cap is a part of that, right? We communicate, and it's not about necessarily withholding a standard, but it's about getting a point across. That's through metaphors, that's through slang terms, that's through all different types of forms of communication, right? Whereas in the professional setting, it's common speak, academic language, all those big things, right? My big beef with professionalism is professionalism derives from the white dominant culture. So when you think about it, professionalism is not really about what's wrong or what's right. It's about the cultural restrictions that you have to adhere to when you are in white dominated spaces. Okay? That's what it's about. Let's talk about, think about dress attire, right? What does it mean to dress professionally? right? We talk about, you think about Iverson, right? When the NBA dress code changed, it didn't change back or something because Westbrook and them be out here wilding. But anyway, that's a different thing. Allen Iverson showed up to his MVP. He had on his baggy jeans, his 3X tall tee with the jersey, do-rag untied with the headband around, cornrow down, wearing his own shoes, them Iversons, you know what I'm talking about? Well, who was it? David Stern? I believe it was David Stern back then. Could be wrong, whatever. David Stern didn't like that. He wanted Iverson to show up in the suit. He wanted Iverson to show up in the European standard. Therefore, a ban came, or dress code came, when it came to basketball players showing up to events and showing up to games. All right? That is something that sparked it. A brother, a black man, dressed in his normal attire, right? Dressed comfortable in his skin. That was offensive to the status quo, right? This is professionalism. When you think about hair and you think about like what hairstyles are unprofessional, right? Dreads, long hairs like afros, my sisters with the natural curls, right? You start moving up into corporate America and, and all these entities, sales, marketing, advertising, real estate. You wear your hair natural, there's a limitation. It's an unspoken rule. It shouldn't be that way, but there's an unspoken rule because you need to prove that you can adhere to dominant European white status quo standards. And your appearance is one of the first things that tells somebody that you adhere to that. Your appearance is one of the first things, when you show them that you can adhere to that, opens the door to all sorts of different clientele, right? Dreads, cornrows, I shouldn't call them dreads. I think they call it locks. But that's here nor there. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And these hairstyles, what are these hairstyles? These are all the hairstyles that white people can't do, right? I mean, white people can grow dreads, and I guess my bias is showing, but I don't recommend it. At the same time, it's not standard, right? Cornrows, same thing, not standard. Afros, same thing, not standard for white people to be able to actually like do these hairstyles, right? These are the unprofessional hairstyles. It is not designed that way by accident. Like, hold on, story time, right? I was 16 years old. I had done internships. I had done, different things like that just to earn money at that point, work a little bit, right? But this was going to be my first real job. I applied to the Fred Meyer. That's like a Kroger. It's a grocery store, right? I applied down to a grocery store down the street, and this was going to be my first real job. I really wanted this job. I didn't necessarily need it. It wasn't like I had to help out around the house. I was fortunate enough that I didn't have to. But if I didn't get it, I was going to suffer in the eyes of like high school coolness. I wasn't going to be able to go to the movies and pay gas and buy my fitted hats and, do all that stuff that I was doing. I actually had, it did open up some freedom that my parents would not have been able to afford, essentially. I already got the basics, but I wouldn't have been, doing nothing with it. Anyway, that's here nor there. This job was important to me, right? So we go up, I interview, and long story short, I end up getting a job. In high school, I had cornrows. Hair was down my back, like, boom, long, right? And what ended up happening was, and I remember the manager, this bigger, taller white guy, right? Kind of heavy set dude with with like one of those, I guess I call it a white box, you know, that two up top, one on the side thing, like hair and just like the thickest brown mustache only, straight up mustache. He told me that, yeah, well, our policy is that you have to, you know, your hair can, if you're a male, your hair can only be a certain length. Essentially, I was faced with the ultimatum to either not take the job or cut my hair, right? And I'll be real to you. I made the decision that a lot of black people make day in and day out on the smallest level and the larger levels. I compromised myself. I cut my hair. I needed that job. I wanted that job. It's what I had to do. And begrudgingly and painstakingly, I went ahead and I cut my hair. Okay? Fast forward. I began to, you see this on my head? You see that? Look, you see that? Your boy dipping, right? A lot of people commented on my waves, and you know, I've been waving for like 20 years or something like that now, right? This is my sneaky protest. This right here, my waves is my sneaky protest, right? And why I say that is because when I started working in banking and in these different places, they maintain, of course, that status quo of professionalism, right? They maintain like those standards to adhere to, right? And I realized that like I can keep my hair short, but guess what? You can't do this. What they gonna say about waves? Can't say nothing about waves. You can't say I have to cut off my waves. You can't say I have to stop brushing my hair. But I am distinctly black, culturally so, right? Every time you see me in whatever professional setting, right? This has been my protest for a long time. And a lot of people don't know that, right? That's professionalism, right? Professionalism is that box they try to put you in. So do I agree that that lawyer should have been talking about cap in court? No. You playing in a field, right? If you're a star basketball player, you can't run on a soccer field and start dribbling the ball. It don't work like that. You got to play by their rules because you over there in their court, literally. I guess pun intended, bars. That's how it is, right? But when it comes to professionalism, we got to really think about what the heart of professionalism is, especially for communities of color and especially for the black community, right? If we want to be intentional, right, about presenting our best, right, and having a good spirit behind whatever we're trying to communicate, let's say that, right? If we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and that you want to, again, dress this temple properly, right? Or something like that. Let's talk about that. Let that be the guide, not necessarily a European style, European standard of what we should do, how we should do it, and when we should as well. All right, y'all. That's the end of class for this video. Again, holla at your boy, Donnie Chocolate, Barbershop Professor. If you think this resonated with you, share it with somebody. Share it on your post, Facebook, whatever, or something like that. Because it genuinely, I think we got to start coming up out of this mentality of this paradigm, as they call it, right? This perspective. We got to start changing, opening our eyes up, and building the communities that we desire with intention. So, again, Donnie Chocolate here, the Barbershop Professor. I'm out.